Use it close to your face.
29th episode, dude.
Is it 29? Oh my
Uh,
God. We're like about to turn 30. What a prime age to be 29.
Oh, in podcast years.
Oh,
Comes quick.
29. Where were you guys in your lives at 29?
Jordan.
I was in LA. I was working for this production company. It was probably the best job I ever had. And then at the end of that calendar year, my birthday's in March, is when I found the pups.
Wow. I was married. I had a beautiful wife. I had a child that was just born. I had a great job, and then my life completely got turned upside down. Wow. Not gonna cry.
This is a fun game to kick it off.
Yeah, really just light. What about you, Webs? Where were you at 29?
I was living in Venice. If I'm doing the math correctly, I was hosting with Ninja Warrior. And life was really good. I was living with Grant and Maddie in Venice, and it was really fun. And then also, like, I feel like we've all done this. I've been so hard on myself through all of my life, like that I would just be like beating. I remember like I would have really great moments, and then moments of just beating the crap out of myself too, and driving around LA. Yeah,
I mean, two things are coming to mind. One, we were all crushing it at 29. What the hell happened?
Mhm.
Like, we were
Well
all
done.
doing so
we
good.
have.
We're not.
I'm sorry.
Crushing it.
We have our 29th episode. Still single.
29 at 29. I've never been more sad. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of that, like negative self-talk, I've been going to the gym. I'm really trying to exercise. I've gained like 10 pounds in the last 3 months. I've
Let's go.
been in this bulking mode, but now I find myself looking at myself and I go, "You're fat," and I like say that to myself internally. I'm like, "You're fat ass."
Well, let me ask you, dude. Are you?
Honestly, no. Like I look.
Okay.
I've been commented on when I'm naked. Like you look amazing.
All right. Let's spend a minute on that.
Yeah, big snaps on
I've
that.
literally
Let's not
been-
quiet snaps.
I've been literally. I've been seeing somebody, and like she's literally like, "You look hot." Those are her verbatim.
Do you think
words.
it's the lasered shoulders that are just standing out and it's being
I don't know. I think
predominantly
it's all of it.
featured?
I like have muscles for the first time in my life. I like muscles are cool.
Muscles are sick.
Yeah, muscles are sick. I know you guys have had them like your whole lives, but
But
like,
I've had waves. I've been really strong and like cut. I've also been overweight and like, but you feel just so much better. You do.
100%. You feel better. I feel like my body is like defaulted made of like melted cheese,
Sure.
and now it's hardening to like a granola or something.
Well,
But think about how
you've always been 6'4" of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
6'3", but I'm glad you keep giving me this extra inch. So today's episode, we wanted to talk about a really deep question because we talk about dating a lot. We talk about our trials and tribulations out there in the wild and also in relationships. But we wanted to ask the three of us, would we date ourselves? Like, would I date myself? Jordan, would you date yourself? And Alex, would you date yourself? And so we're going to play kind of a little game where we criticize our own unique characteristics,
Fun
whether they're good
kickoff.
or bad. Alex, I feel like you always kick it off to either Jordan or I. So we're going to actually start with you.
I want game show music of like, boo doo 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 doo.
Oh, here it is.
Would you date yourself? Today we've got Alex.
He's 36 years old, lives in Austin, Texas, and drives a Range Rover.
Recovering alcoholic. Would I date myself? I'm a lot. I'm a lot. I think that would I date myself? Yeah, I'd date myself. Seriously though? Oof, I don't know. Couple months, roll the dice with me for sure. But no, I would date myself. I'll say this. I think that all three of us, we really do want to improve things, which I don't know if that was always the case with us of like, hey, this part of me is kind of crappy. Now I know it's crappy. I have the awareness and I'd like to make it better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we've always all had that. So I
So
think
if you could name 3 things
that suck about me.
that suck about you that you
Okay.
would just like to change, or if you
Yeah.
were to date yourself, you would be like, hey, Alex, I would like to change X, Y, and Z.
Sure. Okay.
Would you date yourself?
You know, I've got good qualities too, Rob, for crying out loud. I am emotional and I'm a champ 9 out of 10 times, I think, but I also can get like a little bit in my own way or like react emotionally or be a little bit moody or a little bit like triggered by things. So
Okay.
I would say, can that be more than one? I'd love for that to be more than one.
We can always come back. We can always come back.
The other thing is maybe, you know, I am kind of always a little bit frazzled and I'm working on that, but I just say yes to too much and I people please and I do too much.
Okay.
So those two. And then third is like, gosh, it's like I love too much. Like I'm too good of a lover. You know what I mean? It's like
You're too good of a lover, or you're
I was
too
trying
needy
to
of a
do
lover?
I was trying to do the when you like are in an interview and you're like, I think I just care too much.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I give too much to myself. Um,
Do you think you're needy? Like
I
too needy?
think I don't think I'm needy, but I do think that my baseline, and I'm actually okay with this, and this is for anyone who this hits
I'm
home
going
to
to
do.
push back on that.
I'm not needy.
You've
I
even
just know that
you
I require a lot of love. And that's not needy though, but that's like my base. But I also like, I'll fucking die for you and I'll give you every fiber of my being and support you and love you. And so, I'm not questioning that though. Like that's my base level. I need a lot of love. I give a lot of love. I want to live in a home with a lot of love. Um, but I will say the emotional thing and being triggered were 2 areas that I'm working on.
They almost like all 3 kind of intertwine.
Oh,
It's just a
dude, it's
very
it's
intense. You have
all
one speed.
dude,
You
it's
have one
the
speed.
hurt 12-year-old. Like all of them, I need to whatever it is, like psilocybin, go talk to someone, all of them scream into a pillow, but it's all like a wounded 12-year-old boy seeking love, needing validation, being hurt. It's that little dude.
Wow. Okay. Snaps. I'll give that was honest. It was an honest game show. Would you date yourself? Jordan, would you date yourself?
I go back and forth with that. And actually I have a BuzzFeed quiz of how dateable are you actually, if we want to do that together. I was looking at through there. I have a few other options that we can do, but I didn't love them. But you know, BuzzFeed is at least in the millennial world, the iconic quiz taker, quiz giver.
Yeah.
You know, like
What's their first question?
Well, hold on, before we hop into their
Yeah.
analysis, I'm curious the Jordan straight from your heart, your own.
Yeah, like I mean, I talked in the last episode about just how casual and how fluid I can be when it comes to dating, and I'm sure like a girl that I was recently talking to, I realized how similar we were and how put off I was by some of her behavior. And I was like, we're more alike than that. Like she kept doing certain things and I'm like, yeah, but I do that. And I found myself not liking it. So it kind of made sense to me a little bit of like, oh, maybe this is a reason of why I am still single with some of these behaviors. And do I feel like I am reaching my best self? I don't think so. And so, I mean, I think I'm super fun and playful and, you know, can be emotional and can be, and working on being more vulnerable and more vocally vulnerable. So I mean, and at the same time, like we talked about last episode as well, as like I'm sensitive, and so and maybe a little moody from time to time, but overall, I think just working on that and not being so roller coastery. I think at the core, the one thing that I'm trying to work on is being more communicative. That is, you know, my actions, I feel like, should speak louder than my words, but sometimes, and I think, people need to hear that to know that there's backing towards my actions, that it's not, I'm just like, well, I did this thing and this thing meant so much to me, this act of service, this thought that I had, but unless I truly showcase that by being communicative, like, no one's going to know. So I'm going to say no.
So you would not date yourself?
I know. Loser game show noise right there.
No,
It's okay. Not
Well, but
at this moment.
But this is like we're going to come back to this, because I think the service of this is then, what do we want to change about ourselves? So, but we'll get to part 2. Okay, Rob, would you date yourself?
Would I date myself? Hey guys, I'm Rob, 35 years old, live in Pasadena, California. Love cats. Something that I've noticed, obviously since I started dating again after I lost Noelle, was my expectations have been way too high. My expectations for a new partner have just been like through the roof, in the sense of like, she's got to be a mom to my kid. She's got to be as good as Noelle or better. She's got to be, potentially wifey material. Like, there's so much that I'm putting into these first date encounters that I think it's shooting myself in the foot, where I go in with such high expectations, then maybe they don't meet it, but it's still like a lovely date. And it's just like, yo, just date and have some fun. So I think my expectations need to come down a lot. I think I am very vulnerable with where I'm at, what I've gone through. And part of me also wants to maybe be a little less vulnerable, like almost like, yeah, I went through some shit, but like, I don't need to like put that on somebody I'm dating, or like my next partner, even my next wife. It's like, I can navigate that with my therapist and with my family and my friends, and like, of course, be comfortable sharing if I need to, but not like put it on my partner, because it's just a lot for somebody to take on. And then I think this is just coming off like what I've noticed myself is like, I have a little bit of a burnout. Like I start really hot in a relationship where I'm just like trips and gifts and really there for the person. And I want to be like Prince Charming to the T. And then I almost feel them go, oh my God, I love this dude, or like I'm into this. And then I find myself almost pulling back, or I then get very comfortable. And instead of like continuing that like Prince Charming energy, I almost get comfortable in the relationship, which can lead to, my partner just being like, wait a minute, what did I sign up for? Or like, what is this? So would I date myself? Oh man, I don't think so. I don't think I would date myself. I think I still have like another year or two of real growth to do.
So the girl that you're dating, who's listening to this, skip ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she listens to this, and honestly, I could probably tell her straight up, like, hey, I don't know if I'm ready to like be in a serious relationship. Yeah. And she would honor that. But again, I
think we're also harsher on ourselves too, and looking at it independently. Yeah. So just me saying, hey, I don't think I would date myself doesn't mean that I'm not dateable or worthy of a girlfriend, or it's just, I think certain where we're at in a point of our lives is just like, hey, I'm not feeling like I'm my best self. And so I don't think that that's worthy of, like, if I saw that counterpart, then I would date that person. Right. Does that make sense? That's how I'm viewing this question a little bit.
Yeah. It's like if you saw yourself in the wild, a female version of that.
So hot.
Female version of Jordan. Next question. Let's go.
So hot.
Have you seen there's a meme going around that because of the filters and the AI stuff that they're doing, is that they're like switching people. It's like NFL quarterbacks flipped as girls. And it's like, how many beers would it take to
fuck Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. As that looks like an AI girl. Yeah.
1,000.
Trevor Lawrence would be an easy switch. Look him up. Look him up. The quarterback for the Jags. Look him up. That's Weber's crush. Don't even send me a beer.
Oh, wow. Trevor. Okay, I want to do this as a show collectively. Let's answer this quiz. It's the BuzzFeed How Dateable Are You?
Okay.
And let's just go through it and see how as a show we are, you know, as a grouper. So
Okay.
so who should pay at the end of the date? I always do. I expect my date to. I expect my date to at least the first few times. It should be it
Oh,
should
these are the
always be
answer
50-50.
answer
Yeah,
options.
these are what we
Okay.
can choose through. Each person should pay for what they got. It should be reflective of individuals' incomes. I always offer to pay whichever way they like, but I'd hope that my date would pay. The person that did the asking out should pay. I think it's the last one as the answer, but I know Rob's answer here is I always do.
I try to always pay. I'd say in the
Okay.
first like 5-6 dates, I try and always pay. And then like once you're dating, then I do agree. It's
Mhm.
maybe an 80-20 split or 75-20.
Okay. I'm gonna click I always do.
Okay.
Alex,
Great.
do you agree? You're good with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I always do.
How would you feel dating someone far more successful than you? Incredibly proud. I would feel proud, but secretly just a tiny bit insecure, though I would never tell them or make them feel bad about it. I
That
would
one.
hate that. I would hate that. I'd want to feel on par with my partner. I would hate that. I want to feel like the main provider. I wouldn't care.
It's either between one or two for me.
Okay, we'll do the second one.
All right.
I remember when I dated Maggie, who was the actress in Canada, and she was like on a hit TV show and all that. And this is when I
Mhm.
was like, acting was like really what I wanted to do. I was super proud. It was cool, but it definitely brought up some stuff where like we went for a sushi dinner and she was just like, I got this. And it was just, I like went to visit her and I was just like hanging out, and it definitely brought up some stuff.
I think if you're in the same field, it's a bit of a challenge because I had an ex too who was in social media and she was running the Rock's social media and was like, this was like
Ever
right
heard of him?
as Fast Five was coming out, and like it was just one of those things. And I'm in social, and I'm like, listen, I was doing cool stuff, but just felt that she was better and more ahead on things, and so it makes it a challenge as opposed to like if I'm dating someone who is working at like a like fintech company or something and
Yeah.
crushing it. It's
I was
like,
just thinking about a hottie who works in tech, makes like
yeah,
seven
it's like
figures a
fucking
year.
crush that. Great.
Great.
Like I'll be a
That
stay-at-home dad. Like you kill that. Anyways, next question. Next question. Do you expect your partner to groom their private bits in a specific way?
these questions are all over the
Okay.
map.
No, I was not expecting that.
No, I
was
don't
like,
care. You do
First
you.
of all,
What you wanna-
private bits just it reminded me of like dog food company or something. Like eat your private bits.
Okay, so quickly, no, I honestly don't care. No, and I would never expect my partner to or ask them to. I have preference, but I would never voice them because I wouldn't want my partner to feel pressured. I have preferences and I would voice them. I have preferences and I would voice them if my partner doesn't adhere to them, blah, blah, blah. I have preferences and I would want and expect my partner to take them into account.
I think the last one for me. I think it's like if you're gonna share, basically like if you're gonna share, hey, I have a preference of like how you trim yourself or whether you're waxed or not, and then she's like, well, I'm really adamant about not doing that, then I would say, okay, great, then you're in. But I think it's a nice conversation. I think it's an okay conversation to have.
So the last one is I have preferences and I would want and expect my partner to take them into account.
Yeah.
You're saying that one?
I mean, I would do the same. Like if my partner was like, hey, I like when you do this or shave there or
Mm-hmm.
yada yada, I would just be like, great, I'm gonna do it for you. Because that's like how you make sex more entertaining.
Okay, great. We'll do that one.
Weber does not agree.
No, that's fine. I
Okay.
think I feel like they were very intense options. I'm kind of like, you do
I
whatever
think-
you want to do.
Right. The question is like kind of 0 to 100 of like prior, we were just like talking about success and just like who should pay on a date. And then it's just like,
Private
how should they
bits.
groom themselves? Okay, your partner wants you to go with them to an event you really, really don't want to go to. What do you do? I say that I don't want to go and I don't. I say I don't want to go, but I do anyways because it's so important to them. I voiced my opinion. I do go, but I expect something in return. Jeez. I go and do my best to enjoy myself. I doubt there would be something I wouldn't want to go to.
The second to last.
Second to
one.
last.
Yeah,
second to
I
last.
agree. I go
We're
and do
such
my
nice
best to
guys.
enjoy myself. Yeah. It's your partner's birthday in a week and you have no idea what to get them. What do you do? That would never happen. I'm a fantastic in both gift giving and planning. I would ask a close friend or family member of theirs. I would go to a store and ask the sales assistant. What?
The
I would
top
just buy
one.
them the most expensive thing I can. I would take them out somewhere or plan an event. I would go get them a gift card if I'm being
Hold on.
really
The
truthfully
top
honest.
one. We're a bunch of sweet, sensitive boys over here.
I think I'm a bad gift giver.
I would say
What?
I don't think I'm good at gift giving. I'm like
I
weird
think
about
I'm
gifts.
tempted about doing that. I would take them out somewhere or plan an event.
That's a great option too.
I like experiences. If I don't know what to get them, that just means I haven't been listening to anything that they like have said.
True.
You're just like not listening. So I'm gonna do the plan an event. Let's do that one.
That's a
Your
great
partner
one.
has cooked you dinner. What do you do? Eat it. Obviously, eat it and make an effort to generally thank them. Eat it and thank them and do the dishes. I probably wouldn't eat it because they're an awful cook.
Sheesh.
Who's writing this? I'm
Yeah.
gonna say eat it and thank them and do the dishes.
Yes. 100%.
Great. How often do you compliment your partner? I make a conscious effort to do so every day. I do so whenever I feel compelled to, which is so often. I do so whenever I feel compelled to, and when I think they need to hear it. I probably don't do it enough. Alex.
Every day.
Oh, you're passing this to
sorry.
me. What was the? I mean, probably every day. Probably every day.
I make a conscious effort to do so every day.
Yeah.
What just happened there, Alex? You just got really quiet.
I think it's because I need a lot of compliments. So
Okay,
I think
you want compliments every day.
I think
But I'm curious. So you need that. Do you give it as well?
yeah. I
Okay,
do.
great.
Yeah.
If you had to choose just one thing, what's the most important quality in a partner? Emotional support, good prospects, interesting conversation, good looks, a devotion to me.
Ooh, I like devotion to me.
Ooh, okay.
That's a powerful.
You like that one? Yeah, I like emotional support. But I'll do a devotion to me.
I like
Alex?
both those. Yeah. I mean, a devotion is such a powerful word. That sounds
Yeah.
definitely like a husband and wife thing. But I guess if that's what we're talking about, yeah, devotion.
Okay, great. 2 out of 3. How do you choose what movie to watch or music to listen to? I generally choose it. They generally choose it. We have a system where each person gets to make the decision. We always find a compromise. I don't really care. I would assume that you have like similar taste. Yeah, we always find a compromise. Some of these, okay. Would you ever snoop through your partner's phone? Yes, but only if I get a chance. If I thought they were cheating, maybe. No, even if I thought they might be unfaithful.
I've only done it when I've thought that they were being unfaithful.
I did it, but it was my own baggage and nothing. Not a representation of my partner at all. It was my own carrying.
Okay, I'm gonna do maybe. Although I think it's really unhealthy at this point, and I think it comes like you have to build trust through the relationship. And if you're looking through their phone, I think there is a chink in the armor essentially that comes like into the relationship. But okay, moving forward, we got to get through this quiz because this is
how many
way
more are there?
I have no idea. They're just continuously pop up as I go through it. I'd have to
my
imagine it's like
God.
10 questions. We're getting through this. You have a sexual fantasy that you've expressed to your partner and they've stated that it's something that they would want to do. How do you react? I would expect them to do it anyways. This would be a deal breaker for me. I would be disappointed.
Something that they wanted to do or didn't want to do.
You have a sexual fantasy that you've expressed to your partner and they've stated that it's not something that they would want to do. I would be disappointed, but I wouldn't hold it against them or bring it up again. I would be disappointed and may bring it up again just to see if they've reconsidered. This would be a deal breaker for me. I would expect them to do it anyways.
Probably the second one. Like I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I think so
but I'd
too.
bring it up one more time. Like,
Okay.
Hey, by the way, I really am into that.
Where are we at?
When should you tell someone that you love them? As soon as you feel it, after a certain period of time, so as to not freak them out or to rush them into anything, only after they say it. And if you feel it too, after they say it.
I think as soon as you feel it, you got to express yourself.
As soon as you feel it.
That's
What's
good.
the best way to deal with an argument? Fight it out fairly until you come to a solution, avoid each other, sex. These are 3 options.
The first one.
Fight it out fairly, even if it isn't the solution you want. Okay.
Well, I think ultimately though, I think hopefully there's some kind of a nice closure of like a hug or an agreement or like a, you know,
Okay.
not going to sleep angry.
So we have come to the end of the quiz.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Snap,
I
snap,
know.
snap,
Yeah,
snap,
good job,
snaps.
everyone. Good. Thank you for powering through this with us. This was off the cuff. How dateable are you actually? What percentage do you think that we got? Price is Right rules.
Out of
100%.
100?
Out of 100%.
87.
I'm going to go with 92.
That's awesome, guys. We are a 67% dateable. You're a pretty fantastic date. You have your flaws, and sometimes you can be inconsiderate, just like everyone else, but you're making an effort to be better.
This was the best of our best.
Yeah.
If all three of us can't be dateable.
I know.
Wow.
Well, I
Barely
guess it kind of,
passed.
yeah.
I feel
I
like
know.
we answered such like the right thing.
All right. If you're
2/3 of the
listening,
way, yeah.
can you give us the feedback, listeners, of where we went astray? Because this is three guys who really thought they crushed this.
I think where we lost points. Dogs are going crazy.
That's okay. They're like a 67. That's ridiculous. Honestly, because I was like trying to answer how I would answer, but then you guys had better, more cordial answers in some of them.
Yeah, I think where we lost some points is the saying maybe on going through the phone, and there was one. I think just the wording of a devotion to me was a bit more of like a power play versus that. That's my only assumption of why it could have been as low as it is. But also the grooming one might have been a little. It should have been like, no, I honestly don't care.
These are all mine. These are all the ones I chose.
They're not.
Hey, just something to think about.
I said I was jealous. Oh gosh. Well,
all right. So
this
now,
was
so we
not encouraging.
Yeah, this was not encouraging at all. So now that we know that we are a 67% dateable, way lower than I was expecting. What can the three of us do personally to improve on our kind of our three things that we brought up for each of us?
All right, I'll honor our pattern here. This has really been since like mid-December. I had a moment where I was like, I like had emotional reaction, and I was like, this is so out of it's not who I want to be, and it's not who I feel like I am, if that makes sense. It feels like it's a residual thing that's like limped along throughout my life and has only really been activated when I've gotten to a certain point of caring for someone and felt vulnerable or at risk of being hurt. And so that's like something since then, imperfectly, but like it's been a daily in the top of my mind focus. I would say that's my number one. And then just like slowly moving things more together in my life so that I feel less of like my identity, feeling less of like dude racing around and more of like grounded man, if that makes sense. Like from like changing my car to like cleaning up my place.
Point,
yeah,
really quick, because you've expressed that you have this 12-year-old hurt boy often, and I also have a 12-year-old hurt boy inside me, and something I want to acknowledge that I've always expected for my partner to like lift me up and my partner to like give me those compliments and kind of like not baby me, but like, reassure me that I'm actually okay. And I'm in a season of life right now where I'm trying to realize like, I need to do that for myself. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm trying, but I'm like, I'm not doing it for myself. And I guess my question to you is like, you're saying you want to be less emotional, but I've also heard you say you want more reassurance from your partner. Do they go hand in hand?
I think listen, I'm sure there's somewhere where those are let me speak more accurately to this. Words of affirmation are a love language for me. Right. So we've just had a conversation together of like, what is our languages of love? That's a very real thing. How do you express love? How do you receive love? So that is just like where that one is I just have needed to express, as she did, what our languages of love are and actually have like an adult conversation of like, Sometimes what you give is what maybe you actually need, and that kind of a thing.
Right.
The emotional reactions is literally me just feeling like it's just been in my life. And it would even happen with guy friends too. I'd be like, I'm cool. I'm cool guy. I'm cool guy. I let things slide. I let things slide. And then I kind of like quick lash and like say something hurtful. And so that is just something that it has no place in my life. And I think I've just had more of an awakening to how out of character, like I've worked really hard on myself and I still have a lot of things that I'm working on, but how out of character that is for like who I'm becoming. And so, yeah, that's just like, it's a daily focus because I don't want it to creep in.
Fuck yeah, dude. I love it.
And are you doing things to work on that? Like, what can you?
Awareness is definitely, and that was like, I was in therapy and I'm going to go back into therapy, but I was in therapy for 5 years. And like, one of my biggest takeaways from that was things don't just happen. Like I would often come into therapy with this like story of like, well, and then this just kind of happened. And then I found myself here and I did this. And it's like, hold on, let's trace it back. And like, there were so many things that led up to that situation. So like one is like just being aware of, am I run down? Am I stressed? Did I just have a crappy meeting and I didn't decompress from that crappy meeting before I'm going into another setting? Like just being a little aware of like, where are you? Where's your homeostasis? Are you in like a green, everything's cool? Are you like a yellow, orange? Like where are you at right now? So I would say awareness. And then if like feeling something that like stimulates me to be aware and just like process it a little bit before just like, I feel something, I say something, you know?
Right. Dude, I think that's major growth, man.
Thanks guys. We're on the journey.
Um, I can kick it to Jay or I can go.
Go. It seems like you're ready to. It seems like you have something brewing.
Well, obviously I talked about my expectations being too high, and if I dig deeper into why that happens, I think there's still just a part of me that has not let go of Noel. I'm still very much clinging on to the memory, clinging on to the feeling. Then I feel like when that feeling's gone, we're displaced by a new feeling or new emotions, new relationship. I almost I get more sad. I feel as though I'm like not guilty, but just like the universe is unfair, even though like new things are blossoming. So I just get stuck. And I almost when I get stuck, I feel like it's okay to be stuck because it was such a tragic thing. And so I'm like, you should be stuck, Rob. You should stay stuck because it is so sad. And you did lose your partner in crime. And I'm kind of just, I think what I'm realizing is like, it's okay to mourn, it's okay to grieve, but it's also okay to be unstuck. And I don't know if that necessarily manifests in a new relationship. I'm not sure if it does. I just think that I can get woe is me really quick. And I'd like to just like grow out of that. And I'd like to apply that to, new love and new relationships is just like how grateful I am to be dating somebody or, build a new life or, have more kids someday or build like a new future and a new deep partner in crime relationship, which I know I will eventually have, instead of just being like super stuck in the grief.
And how do you work through that? Can like I think it's important to talk about this but also enlighten the audience and kind of be like, what are you doing from a day-to-day standpoint that is allowing yourself to be 1% better or just kind of growing through it? And even if some days are better than others and some days are worse than others, obviously, like how does that
In the
process go?
the last 12 months, I've definitely invested the most amount of time, money, energy into therapy. There was a point where I was going 3 days a week. I now go once a week, and I'm even in a place now where I'm like, I'm doing better. I think I can go every other week. And part of me wants to be like, no, dude, just go once a week, spend the money and just go. Like it's good for you. You never leave feeling worse. So I've been able to instead of getting to that broken record loop of sadness or thought, I can like put it out to my therapist, and then he can play it back and just be like, yo, you're feeling this, or you're thinking this, or maybe focus on that. I've also been working with a life coach for the last like 6 months, which I never thought I would, but I highly recommend it. I know sometimes life coaches get like, it's comical and it's very LA of me, but she's really helped me just in those times where I'm like, I don't know what I should do next energy. She can be like, well, why don't we do X, Y, and Z? And like we bullet pointed out. Because usually in those moments, I just create chaos so that I could like solve a problem and be like, oh, I'm creating chaos and I'm solving the problem. So therefore I'm doing the right thing. So I would say those two elements have been super beneficial. And then, you know, obviously it's January, New Year's resolutions. Everybody wants to get fit now. I started really exercising like regularly after our Austin trip in September or whatever. I just remember being with the Men We Admire group and being like, everybody here is fit. What the fuck am I doing? Like, why can't I get this together? And seeing Noah just eat so much food but still be jacked.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait a minute, if I lift weights, I can eat a bunch of food. So exercise, therapy, life coach, those three have
Those are great, man.
Really helped me.
And then the only other one to draw attention to seems like that voice that calls you fat when you're not.
I don't know what that is. It's ridiculous. Because like I'm not fat. Like,
well, the more that you go to the gym, the more your body dysmorphia changes.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I look at myself and it's a mental thing. It's like literally the body hasn't. I mean, my body looks good. It's a mental framing of how I look based off of, let's say, a number. Like, let's say I weigh myself and then I go, oh my God, I'm this weight. And it's complete body dysmorphia.
Yeah, it shouldn't be based around the number. It should be like how you feel. And also if you can compare how you look, like if, you know, taking photos of yourself through the progress to be like, man, it doesn't look like I've changed that much. And you go and look 3 months earlier and you're like, oh, there's a huge difference here. You know, even if the scale says the same number, or even if it says more, like there are so many people out there that are posting showing that they weigh 8 pounds more now, but have a thinner waist, you know, like a right. Slimmer waist, I should say, but are in better shape and doing all that. So it's not always about the number on the scale, depending on like what your fitness goals are as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, week over week, I'm lifting heavier. I'm like running better. Like it's working. I think I'm just having this internal, like,
sure.
Oh, you used to be so skinny. And now you bulked.
But you were so sad.
I was so sad, man. I wasn't eating. That's why
you were too skinny, man. It wasn't like lean, like healthy lean. It was sad skinny.
It was sad skinny. It was like a depleted, depressed boy. Yeah. So yeah,
but that's so sexy with a cigarette and just linen pants.
Jay, right, how Jordan. We doing? I feel like you're in the Matrix.
The quiz. You're in the quiz.
Yeah, I'm doing another like 4 quizzes. Just be like, we got to be better than 67%. This is.
Let's do your datable. What would help you from the things that we didn't love about ourselves?
I think just being more intentional, and I've been saying that I think through the first 3 episodes of this new year, and being more communicative, as I said, just expressing myself that much more. If I think like know that through past relationships, when I'm like, I'm being so overly communicative, that I'm clearly not. And just to be that much more. And, you know, the question of like how saying something lovey-dovey to someone and doing it on a daily basis is like, if I feel that for someone, say that. And it's okay to be a little vulnerable. It's okay to say these things in that way, as opposed to holding it back or, you know, telling other people. It's like, man, I really like this girl, and not telling the girl that I really like her because I'm nervous about the outcome or something along those lines. And it's just kind of like, it goes back to our consistent thing that we say is that if they're about it, there is very little that you can say that will put them off. And so I think just staying diligent towards me wanting to be the best person that I can be, and that is setting goals, and part of it is like doing more artwork and journaling more. There's like definitely at the last couple of months of the year, I definitely skipped way more days on journaling, and I know how much better it is to just start my day and feel like I'm checking things off and doing it that way. So that's where I'm at. I'm feeling
So,
good
I
about
mean,
it.
I'm feeling really good. I think our awareness between the three of us is really high. I don't know many guys who would get on a podcast and talk about how dateable they are and like what they need to work on as men.
29 episodes.
Yeah, 29 episodes diving into this. So snaps to you both, and snaps to our audience for listening. Jordan, I guess my question is like, has there been a relationship or a potential situationship in recent, in the last 6 months where you're like, man, I wish I could have communicated better? And you think that could have led to deeper feelings or
Well, we talked about it last episode a bit, where the girl that I dated last summer, who I was really into, and I was telling like my friends and the roommates at the time of being like, I'm really into this girl, and I wasn't I guess I wasn't communicating that, despite my actions being like, asking her out on dates and being very creative on the dates planning and all that kind of stuff. Or I mean, I guess I'm still a little raw from the discussion point of like being told I was fluid again. And just, I guess, even though I was very vulnerable and I think the most communicative I've ever been in a connection with a woman, I still, I guess, was like lacking, or my behavior was that of being too casual.
Yeah.
And granted, there were other factors that come into play, of that being long distance, and there's just some other, like that being the biggest factor of it all. So it's kind of hard to really press that early on when the relationship starts long distance versus in person and then goes to long distance.
I feel like honestly, guys, I want to put this energy out there, but I feel like we're ready for like a dating expert to come on, some relationship expert, even a life coach, somebody to just like hear us be this vulnerable and be like, well, you could try this, this, and this
To coach us up.
Yeah, just like coach us up a little bit, because the three of us, we've had some DMs where people are like, hey, I'm talking to this person on Bumble and what should I say? And it's like, we have some skills, but obviously we're not experts in the arena.
Is there anybody who you don't want to hear us bring on the podcast? DM us the person.
Yeah, please.
If there's anyone you follow their videos and you're like, hey, this person's great. Yeah, we'll reach out in theory.
Jay, first of all, this was like an amazing game quiz / like, yeah, it was very humbling. I'm really still shocked that we scored a 67, especially with all three of us.
It's a BuzzFeed quiz, guys. Like, we were just doing it for fun.
I know,
it's
but
okay.
I take everything so personally. Like it's
who's the editor of that article?
Yeah. Send me their email. I wanted to ask Jay, so you and I are both how long? Like a week off the dating apps? Maybe 5 days?
Yeah, something around that.
Let's say we're like 4 or 5 days off the dating apps. What would have been some of your experiences since deleting the apps?
I have so much time. So much free time. I do enjoy it. I do like it, because it was becoming a disgusting habit, and disgusting in just the sense of like how much I was just opening it up and being like, did I get a new message? Did I get a new message? Did I get a new message? And getting a new message and responding and going back and forth and all that kind of stuff. But it's been nice, and now it's like, okay, how am I going to meet new people? Like, I'm not talking to anyone right now in major interest, and it's like, okay, like, but I think a big focus that I'm trying to do right now is being more intentional towards myself, and I think that having this free time to create content or work on projects, work on personal stuff. Like I said, like journaling more, doing more art, taking like the pups out on walks or hikes or anything that I can do to fill that time and be proactive. How about you?
I've definitely had like the itch to download them to message. I noticed that I was like checking them a lot when I was driving. I find like when I'm driving is one of the most times where I'm just like, man, I would love to just see a pretty girl and see if we match. And like missing that dopamine hit is definitely real. I also feel a huge sense of relief. I feel like I don't have to keep 5 or 10 different conversations going at a time. I can just like really hone in on like one person. Also, in terms of just like Leia, like I'm not like thinking about, oh, I'm gonna go on this date or I'm gonna go on that date, or like, like my schedule is a lot leaner, and that is just creating more time. Which I'm in the kind of the phase of like, I don't like all this time. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Mm.
And like there's a little boredom that's coming. So, but there isn't this like feeling, which I thought there would be, of like, I'm missing out on meeting my soulmate because I deleted the dating apps. You know what I mean? Like, I remember that feeling of like, oh, the next person I could meet could be the one, or the next person I match with. And like that feeling has totally just disappeared.
Well, I mean, I've obviously been off them for a while, but I remember when I've deleted them in different phases. I remember one of the good things was the simplicity of like, it's just your life and whoever you see and whatever you're doing. There's not like this perpetual grass is greener thing that can always
Right.
be checked or engaged with, or yeah, it like
I feel like it's
simplifying.
similar. It's similarly designed as social media apps,
Mm-hmm.
like where there's just this consistent pipeline of new content, new matches, new potential for connection, new potential for dopamine, um, new potential for gratification. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, how long are you guys going to stay off them? And who's the person who's going to download them first?
I mean, I have a silent intention to myself that I wanted to stay off the dating apps for a full year.
Wow.
So it'd be like
Nice.
all of 2023, no dating apps.
Jordan, does your intention match that?
I didn't think of it that way. I also immediately thought of what was it? No date September.
When I
Oh,
lasted
that thing.
13 days.
It turned
Yeah,
into
yeah,
Datapalooza September.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know. Like it's a good cleanse right now. If I can get through, 3, 4 months, I think is always really nice. And hopefully, meet someone organically during that time and putting more time and effort and energy towards putting myself out there a bit more and working on myself internally. Like I said, it's less about like, I gotta meet someone. I like, because if that was the case, then staying on the apps is the right move. And paying for the premium features, which I never do. And so I don't have a time frame with it. It's just like for me right now, this is what's working or what I want to work or what I want to spend my intentional time on. And we'll see.
I like it, guys.
Yeah.
Like
so Webs, when are you downloading the apps again?
I am on
Is
J
there
Swipe.
is there like a swingers?
You're on
Like
J Swipe.
I'm on J Swipe. It's not swingers.
AustinSwingers.net.
Do we have any questions?
I don't think so.
No.
I can double check, but I don't think so. We are still single. Friendly reminder, you guys can send in questions to us anytime you like, and we will answer them on the pod. No questions this week, but we'll definitely push for some on next
I
episode.
did get one
yeah.
from Christy. It wasn't really a question, but she said that we've inspired her to start a podcast for women who have gone through abuse and as like a support and a community for that. So Christy,
Wow.
that's amazing.
Yeah, if there's
I
any way
see
we
you
can
also
support.
asked which microphone. You want to ask Rob and Jordan that question.
Alex is a mic specialist.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
worked
yeah.
at the last Radio Shack ever before they shut down as a microphone
And then
salesman.
I went right over to Blockbuster and they weren't hiring.
Jeez.
All right. Okay.
Okay. We love you guys. Tune back in next week. We'll be back with another episode. We're going to work on getting a special guest for you, and we'll push that out on our socials. So follow at We Are Still Single on Instagram and TikTok. And you can follow all three of us on Instagram and TikTok at I'm Rob Michael Moore, at I'm Alex Weber, and at Jordan Kahana.
Can we do a quick round the horn, 30 seconds each? I feel like we're ending on all three of us a little sad boy radio. Can we just do a quick check-in of how we're doing?
It does feel a little sad boy radio right now. Like we basically just got our.
Does it? Okay.
It does. It feels like a little like we suck at dating.
We almost failed.
No,
a dating
it's
test.
We
It's
are
called
bad.
Still Single. We're on 29 episodes.
all right. Kick us off.
Yeah, kick us off, Jordan.
I feel good. I think we scored where we should have scored, judging prior to right before we did that, both Rob and I saying that we wouldn't date ourselves right now. And
Right.
I just feel good. Like there's good momentum right now. It's early. Like I'm not like cruising on the momentum, but I just feel the change taking place. And I'm very grateful for that right now. And it's a slow process that is, you just got to be patient with yourself. It is a daily grind. And, you know, I saw something, I don't remember where I read it or saw it, where it was like, when you go to the gym, the gratification or the gains that you'll see is that's one of 1,000 times going to the gym, or even like
Simon
granted,
Sinek.
yeah, it's just like, you have to remind yourselves that like, whatever I'm doing, whatever I need to change, like I have built this, I need to go to the gym every day. That is part of my routine. So, and willing to see that slow growth that takes place. So what else in my life that I want to see goals wise, do I need to just do a little daily activity on, whether it is, 100%, 20%, 75% the next day, like just as long as I'm doing it on a daily consistency for there to be growth. And that's where I'm at.
I mean,
Fuck yeah.
Snippety snaps.
Snappity snoops.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm going to prioritize myself, and that I can't wait to, it is okay for people to be disappointed or feel however they feel if I can't meet their expectations of what they'd like. And that's okay, because I'm driving myself into the ground trying to please too many people. So I'm going to prioritize and here's the tragic thing, and this is so important for anyone listening, is in doing that, the things that we chip away at is our own time, and then sometimes our wellness. Like we chip away at our relaxation, we chip away at our sleep, we chip away at to please other people. And if we don't do that, the real truth is that the things that are deep in our heart that are tough to bring out, like I have some fucking dreams that are in my heart that I need time and space to do them. And the real truth is, as we please other people, those just keep getting locked up because they're already hard. They're already hard to do. So it's not noble to destroy ourselves to please people that ultimately probably don't care that much for the marginal benefit it gives them. So I can't wait to disappoint people. I can't wait. Ask me to do something. No, I can't. I'm busy. I can't be there.
Guys, the two of you just went off, and I am so happy to be amongst this crowd right now. Like you guys just fucking went off. We're gonna end it there because I can't follow up on the two of you.
That's
go
great.
off, Bobby.
Okay.
Go off, Bobby. Okay.
I feel inspired by the both of you. Jordan, you nailed exactly where I'm feeling, where it's like I'm at the bottom of a mountain that I'm about to climb, but like I have all the tools, I have the equipment, I have my map planned out. Like I'm like, I want to get to this peak. And it's okay to be at the bottom and to know that day after day after day, I'm going to take one more step closer, one more step higher, look back to where I was. And then Webs, in terms of just like your fired upness, like I think what it makes me think about is just focus. Like, what do I want to focus? We only have, a limited amount of time on this planet. And as I get older, the more I realize how short life really is. And so you just got to focus on what makes you happy and what brings you joy. So love you guys.
Love you, dudes.
Love you. Way to end that.
Love you all. Thanks for being here.